All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is your favorite dark sorcerer here. And tonight, I want to kind of just talk about, the call to devil worship. Lately, as you all know, I've been really delving and buckling down into different religions when it comes to worshiping spirits, devils, demons, the ancestors, working with the ancestors, working with the Loa, the Orisha, demons, even that of necromantic spirits. The reincarnate, the re or disincarnate rather. I should say that was the term I was seeking. Disincarnate, and I've been really buckling down and hitting this stuff really, really hard, and the last couple of weeks, and lately, I've been having this feeling. I wouldn't call it, one of joy, it was more of one of rage. It was more of one of solitude. It was more of the feeling that I was feeling this need to begin working with Satan, to begin working with the demonic again, and this is just over the last few days that this feeling has just suddenly just kicked in. So it was kind of weird how this just transpired, and it's I haven't had the need or the feeling to go out and be around other people. My better half has literally had to, take me by the short and curlies and literally, pull me screaming and kicking out of into public, especially when she wants to go shopping. But lately, I've been feeling this need to go get back into devil worshiping and working with devils. And I started the first two books that I went straight for, besides these other books here, but it was the main two books: Evil Archaeology and Ritual Offerings. These were the two main books that I went to. I mean, right off the bat. And I don't know what it was about those two books, but they caught my attention. And it's interesting because Ritual Magic, the Ritual Offerings book, this is speaking from Satanism. It's Solomantic practices. It's touching on voodoo, hoodoo, Santeria, and a whole bunch of different, like, six. I want to say four to six different path workings, including shamanism, which was kind of cool because I kind of like shamanism. I get friends who actually practice that, so it was kind of interesting to get to see shamanism in that book, but more so the fact that shamanism is closely related to the practices of necromancy. So it was kind of cool to see that link again. And for some reason, I just went to those books, and while I was standing there with these two books in my hand, I ended up grabbing these ones. And these are all by Reverend Cain. You have the Infernal Gospels, the Goetia Devils, Book of Kings, the Unholy Bible, the Book of Hymns, and most importantly, guess what? The complete Book of Voodoo. Opening this book up, the page that I went to, and it's ironic because I just opened right up to the page again. It's page 115 underneath the anointing oils, the magical powers of anointing oils, because I have really been delving into herbalism as well lately. I don't understand why that's, transpiring with the need to get back into, working with devils and demons. But I look down at this, and under the first thing underneath K is King Solomon oil. Can you believe that? King Solomon oil. It's like, what the hell, you know? So, anyways, I've been really delving into this stuff while I've been helping my clientele. I've been doing a lot of rituals and everything, a lot of meditation. And the other day, I had a vision while I was meditating of a gold crown with a serpent head in the front and red gems for eyes. And it was interesting because I brought this up to my elder, my teacher. And it was interesting because of the fact that he suggested a few things, and I'm not going to get into that. Okay, I'm not going to get into what he suggested. Um, but it was interesting because I had sent him the individual, meanings and interpretations of each thing. From the crown, basically, is the authority aspect. Think noblemen, king, queen, duke, whatever you want to call it, the ones with the crowns. And in spiritual matters, the crown represents authority over spirits. Okay, it represents the dominion of authority, basically. And then you have the serpent, which represents wisdom, courage, cunning. And then you have the gems, like say red rubies, for an example, and or red jade, for an example. You can go with red jade because red jade in necromancy represents healing, um, consecrations, cleansings, getting rid of negative energies, and a lot of other things that go along with it. So putting these three things together is something that a lot of people wouldn't consider. Okay, and I actually looked at all three of them and kind of put them together to see what it meant to me on a personal level as a practitioner of the dark arts. So I still don't have an answer for you on that one because I'm still going over it. But like I said, my teacher, my elder, recommended a few things to me that I'm delving into as well. I started doing phylacteries again after about a month and a half, and I've actually got one on the sideboard right now, mostly painted. I am in the process of putting on the seal, the personal sigil, to the beings that I'm going to be utilizing it for. And I've got another one that is currently charging for a client of mine. Consider it a Christmas gift, you know. And it's interesting to see how all of this seems to be playing into the same category. For an example, blood and ash is something that you can mix into the phylactery before you bake it. Okay, if you're doing amulets, talismans, something, for protection or to carry, stationary or whatever, you can use it as a dark totem. You name it. There's a number of different applications for it. You utilize a seal that represents that specific being. Like say in the Goetia, you have Murmur, Bifron, just two or three different spirits that actually work with within the field of necromancy. So it's kind of cool to see that. And then when you get into Pedro Mayambi or Santeria, you have Oya, the goddess of the dead. If you go into Norse mythology, you have Hel or Helios, the goddess of the land of the dead, and so forth, going from region to region, pantheon to pantheon. So there's a lot that goes into this, and I've been thinking a lot about the Prina, the Nganga, but also the cauldron. And I've been thinking a lot about the ash and the uses for herbs and ash within the spiritual work. And I've been getting a lot of great ideas, and it seems that this has all transpired since I had that vision of this crown. And I'm wondering, it's kind of interesting because I started working with Belial. Belial is the being that the spirit that is not only in a one of the nine kings, but he's also the one that bestows authority and senatorships upon you. So it's very interesting to see how this stuff is suddenly just awakening again. And I've been feeling very relaxed today, which is kind of ironic. I've been tired but relaxed. My mind has been on prayer and worship like 24/7. Every time I turn around, I'm thinking about how to pray again. I'm wanting to pray again. I'm wanting to go back into my altar, and my mind is right on that altar room, the inner sanctum. And I even looked into the Arabic name for sanctuary. And it's very interesting to see how that kind of is, that fits into everything because it's kind of cool. And this is my better half that just chimed in. I gave her the heads up because the cops are out like in force tonight. And it's interesting to see because of the fact that they're just sitting in dark places with their lights off, so they're doing speed traps. You see other cruisers, out and about and everything. So you're seeing a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like you already know that these beings are out there. These people are out there, so it's instinctual just to obey the laws and everything. But the Arabic terminology for sanctuary, it basically means haven, refuge, sanctuary, shelter, resort, recourse, and shrine, sanctuary, mirabout, even. And there's a whole bunch more that you can actually look up here. And it's interesting because my thoughts on the way home tonight was, I just want to get home. I've got to get home. I've got to do this video. I've got to get back into my sanctuary. I got to start working with the spirit again. And like I said, it's amazing how this stuff is going on. It's all playing in almost like an obsession. And to be fair, I love it. But if you look up the Arabic word for sanctuary, it is la, elma la alaman, alaman. There's a button here. I'll just الملاذ الآمن. See what I mean? Arabic is a language that's very hard to pronounce things. It's like speaking Russian, and trust me, I've been learning Russian as well. On TikTok, I've subscribed to this woman's um, TikTok page where she's actually teaching in English how to speak Russian words. She does like Russian words a day. So it's like, hell yeah, you know, it's awesome. But yeah, this is something that was very cool. I never really thought about this. And a lot of what I practice is surrounding the from Egypt all the way up into the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, um, African based magics. You're getting into the European based magics like Slavic. You're getting into how should I say this? You're getting into Slovakia, Hungarian, Germanic, Slavic regions. You're getting into Babylonian and Sumerian, Akkadian magics, and all this region. It's like the 72 demons of the Goetia go back into the 72 jinn. So I mean, there's a lot that's going in on this, and it's really right there, and it's opening up my mind to this journey because everything that I've been studying, everything I've been practicing the last 3 years has literally been leading me almost like a Ouroboros effect, going through, you know, traditions of former affiliations such as Palo and Santeria, getting into Satanism, going into European traditions, down into the African Caribbean traditions, and right back into Satanism. And it's like, what is going on? Because I actually did a video stating this is why I'm not going to be calling myself a Satanist anymore. It's limiting. And here we are a few weeks later, and I'm getting right back into the Goetia. I'm getting right back into Satanism. And it's like, what is going on here? And it's definitely that, how should I say this? It's definitely that Ouroboros effect of going back to where you began, where you left off. But instead of going right back to where you left off, you're really getting back into something that you have a much more appreciation for. You have a lot better understanding of the art and the craft that you've been practicing for 32 years, and you just found new ways of practicing. Your world has opened up and expanded in such a way that you're able to grow, to evolve, and to learn even further, to delve deeper into the arcane, into the magics, the dark arts. And it's interesting because this morning, before my better half and I went out to my mother's house, notice this is the Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells, the ultimate reference book for the magical arts by Judica Illes. And I've actually been looking at page 257, and this is stuff underneath death magics, death herbs, and a lot of things that deals with death spells. And you got Guardians of the Dead, you got Cherville incense, you've got Funeral Garland. And the one that caught my eye is because recently I did a cleansing of a friend's apartment, where she had a couple people die in the same room, the same bed. So I went in and I cleansed the place, and it really removed a lot of that energy and that how should I say that these spiritual encounters that she and her roommates were having. And it was funny because, like I said, the red gems, the red jade represents cleansing, ridding yourself of negativity. And what happens? Page 257, jasmine incense. Burn jasmine incense to protect and purify, comfort the bereaved, and honor the deceased. And it's like, yep, this is definitely stuff that needs to be done. I mean, you even go to page 265 and you have the scarab spell. I've heard of that spell, so to be able to see it and to read about it, it's pretty cool. But like I said, to see where these spirits are leading you, you don't see the entire big picture. You don't see that big picture. No, you see a small portion of it. So when you're practicing, this is why it's good to meditate and to pray. You want your chakras opened. You want to build up that endurance. You want to build up your muscles, your body and your spirit, and the energy levels all in an equal balance, so that when by the time you begin with the Kundalini aspects of practice, you're able to sustain that godlike power. Okay. And that's basically what it is, because when you're dealing with chakras, you're dealing with what is known as low magic. And when you're dealing with the Kundalini, that's high magic. So that's high magical workings when you get into the Kundalini. And this is everything from what if you want to get into biblical, you can go with Jesus Christ or Jesus of Nazareth. What did he always do? He was always meditating, he was always praying, he was always worshiping in the spirit. You go down into the Shem priesthood, and what do? They chant. These are monks these are holy monks that have been around since the first, second, and third um, dynasties of Egypt. That they had monks that were specifically there for dealing with the public. You had monks that were specifically there to worship, monks that were there to maintain the temple, and then you had those that dealt with the rites from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And even if you get into the Tibetan Book of the Dead, that is still the same exact thing. You're dealing with a form of servitude, but you're also as a servant or servitude, but you're also dealing with aspects of religious worship, philosophical worship, especially when you're dealing with spirits. And like I said, when you get into this aspect, you don't see where they're leading you to. And it's interesting because the spirits that I work with led me into European traditions, the old folklores and the old wives' tales, you know? So that led me back into Haitian Voodoo, a system that I dabbled in the past. And here I am practicing it alongside Santeria and Pedo Mayambi and now Brujeria as well. And it's interesting because the last religion that I got into was Brujeria. And here I am now getting back into Satanism and devil worship. So I want you to think about this as you do your rites, your rituals, your studies, and your practices, because meditation will help you to reflect upon what you're doing, but meditation will also help you stay healthy. It'll keep you grounded, it will keep you balanced, it will keep your equilibrium intact, but it will also help you to gain a higher cognitive abilities. Okay. I'm talking things like astral projection, mediumship, things that will help you to move beyond normal perception. This means getting into the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension, and beyond, so that you're able to transcend and the realms and the planes to gain greater insight, greater knowledge. Think of it as gnosis. In occult studies, gnosis means hidden, that which is hidden. So you actually have to seek it out. It's not for the faint of heart because not everybody's got the gall to go out and to study, to sacrifice, and to do what is necessary for that knowledge, you know, because it is more about you. It is about apotheosis. It is about knowledge, wisdom, growth, maturity. It is about your personal evolution. And it's interesting to see just how these spirits are working with you while you're working with them. Okay. It's a mutual beneficial, relationship, if you wish. And that's exactly what it is. So I thought I would take a moment and kind of share this with you because I think it's something that needs to be said. It's something that needs to be spoken. And I got this, I want to call it an urge to where I want to warn you that whatever you do, keep it silent, just keep it secret until it's complete, because of the fact that you don't want your enemies to get wind of it. Okay, you don't want your frenemies either to work with your enemies, because think of it this way: those who are the greatest threat to you is your family. They know you. They know your weaknesses. They know how to hurt you the most. And then you got your friends. You got your true friends, and then you got those pretending to be your friends. And it's interesting because you have those who claim to be your friends that will sit there and backstab you. You got those friends that will create drama and really work with your enemy because that's exactly what they're there for. They're another form of sentinel. They are the eyes and ears of your enemies. So you really want to keep your rites and rituals close to you until they're complete, unless you have proper, protection, so to speak. Think of the blanket of a condom around your home, your ritual space, your sanctuaries. Or you could put, say, for an example, amulets, dark totems, power totems, utilizing spirits and agents of death, so to speak, to watch over your self, your family, your home, and your inner sanctum. So there's a lot that you can do. There's a lot that you need to be doing, but it's up to you to do them. And Starseed Root Witch, welcome back. JC or TC, Infernal Blessings to you too. Okay, I will go over the books one more time with you, TC. Infernal Offerings. Okay, it looks like this. Evil Archaeology. I've really been starting to deal with Pazuzu lately. I don't know why. He's one of the beings that's been on my mind, just like Moloch. You have the Infernal Gospel by Reverend Cain, the Book of Hymns by Reverend Cain, the Unholy Bible by Reverend Cain, the Book of Kings, and the Goetia Devils. Okay. There's also a little prayer book by Venus Satanas, aka Melissa Hudson, for those of you on Facebook. You can actually get into that one as well. I also recommend the Islamic the what is it called? The Devil's Quran. I also recommend the Islamic Satanic Bible to you. There's a lot of good prayers in there. There's a lot of good information in them from the from the Middle East type magics. But these are the books that I really went to right off the bat, not just this one here. So it was kind of interesting to just pull that out. It was sitting on the floor, and while I'm reading these ones, I just kept glancing down at it, and I just reached down and grabbed it. And it's like, okay, now it makes sense. But yeah, so feel free to jump into those and kind of just experiment a little bit, but always remain silent. Remember the witch's oath, the witch's creed, the witch's pyramid: to know, to dare, to will, to keep silent, and to go forth. Okay, these are a must. And when working with demons, you really want to keep what they teach you secret. You want to keep those practices to yourself. It will benefit you in the long run. But this is something that I felt needed to be discussed. This is something that I felt needed to be put forth because either someone or a group of people needed to hear it. So it's been on my mind. It's been there all day, and here we are, 9:02 p.m. So have a good day. I want to thank Ank, Starseed, Root Witch, and TC for jumping on here with me. For those of you who have not spoken up, who have clicked like and given three people hit the thumbs, 4 people are on the little people up there. Yes, I'm not techni yes, I am not technically, technology smart, so I have no idea what to call those little people thingies up by the clock, but it's there. So, keep that in mind. Alright? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I leave your message here. You can hit me up on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger. I'm on MeWe, TikTok, Timber, Instagram, and Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. So feel free to reach out to me if you have questions, if you have you know if you need services done, whatever. Okay, it is up to you. Even if you have questions, just right there, just type it up and I'll get back to you. All right. Have a good one. And until next time.